Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about Roon, but I'm not going to do a formal walkthrough. Most of you are probably already familiar with Roon, and if not, there's tons of great walkthroughs in terms of helping you with the various settings and whatnot, and how to attach your different accounts and how to set up different zones to play from your house, different areas with Roon Bridge. It's very powerful software, and quite frankly, if you're going to be a member of this channel and an audiophile that does digital streaming music, you're going to want this piece of software and learn how to use it, because it's just too powerful in terms of what it allows you to do in terms of both managing your services and collections, but also finding new music. And it's just a must-have in my opinion nowadays. But again, I'm not going to go through a walkthrough because there's a lot of other people that have done a better job than I could probably even do on that. What I did want to feature is two things that get often overlooked. And the first being, when you choose system output, you can do plugins such as HQ Player. Now, if you're not familiar with HQ Player, it's a add-in that will allow you to change the sample rate, change your dither, change your filters, and there's countless filters. If you're familiar with Roon, there is a setting for changing your filters in the DSP section, but it's much more primitive in terms of the different options that you have here versus with HQ Player. There's quite a few. And again, when somebody can do a better job than I do, I just give them credit. This guy Archimago's Musings blog, he went into HQ Player into detail. I've got the software right here and can play it, but I don't have the most recent version. So that tells you kind of how much I feel it's a necessity. But it is a fun program to use to play with the different settings, the different filters, dither, and see if you can hear a difference, or just pretend that you can hear a difference, whatever your preference. In any case, it's something that I would call not snake oil, but it's also not necessary. So again, if you've got a little bit of extra money to burn, give it a try. It's a fun thing to add into your Roon that gets overlooked. Another thing I'll focus on that gets overlooked is in the DSP, filters that you have are pretty powerful. A parametric EQ typically has gotten a bad rap in audiophile circles, and some of it's deserved because of how people apply it. It's not really the fact that the EQ is bad. It's just how poorly so many people use these parametric EQs. So in the case here, I'm going to just show you a few things there's a bunch of different types of filters you can use. In most cases, you're going to be using peak dip to basically fine tune various areas in your room response that your traditional room correction treatments don't help with. And I will give you a few guidelines from some rules to follow. First of all, you're never going to want to add anything to an EQ if you can avoid it at all, at all possible. If you actually do have to do that, I would reduce everything and then just add to the max 0 dB line. Again, I would just live with suckouts or anything versus adding. It's just there's not enough headroom in digital recordings and in some of these algorithms to account for the added gain you're adding. And that's another thing that most people do wrong with these EQs, is they go crazy with too much. And if you play with this, and that's going to be my main recommendation from this video, is just play with, don't take my word for it. Just go into the parametric EQ, enable it, and just make minor changes. Again, when you do these changes, you can choose how much gain you change, as well as the range, the Q they call it, of how much is impacted. And you can see up here, I'll make it more dramatic. You can see how much you can impact or narrow the range of frequencies that you impact. And if you're doing a wide range of frequencies that you're impacting, you'll be surprised at how small a change you have to make to be able to hear it. It's even something as small as a few point dBs can be audible and change the tonal balance of an instrument or recording, change a lot. So again, don't take my word for it. Just go in here yourself and play with the various EQs, do some room measurements. And one thing you can do is just go to YouTube, do a frequency sweep with your dB meter and see what frequencies are showing up as being higher, or just use your ears. You can often use your ears to tell which frequencies as they show up on the screen in the YouTube video, and then come in here and adjust them, play some recordings and see if you don't notice the difference. Again, be very modest with what you change when you're actually trying to do something for a final curve. I think my final curve, I'll show you those in a separate video because it's pretty complex what I go through. But the main thing I wanted to show you is don't be afraid of a parametric EQ. Just don't go crazy with it. Don't go adding a lot of stuff, and do some small changes and listen for yourself to see if you can make some improvements. If you like this video, go ahead and subscribe, sign up for notifications, and I'll be sure to share some more tips and tricks in the future. See you soon.